Captain Hansol stood at the command center of the Thunder's Edge, his eyes fixed on the massive display screen. The blue glow of Earth hung below them, peaceful and unaware of what was about to unfold. His ship, humanity's most advanced warship, maintained its position in the lunar defense zone. "Captain, we have multiple contacts appearing at the edge of our sensor range," reported Jai-1, her fingers dancing across her console. The science officer's voice remained steady, but her eyes widened as more data streamed in. "I'm detecting energy signatures unlike anything in our database." Hansol straightened his uniform. After 15 years in the Earth Defense Force, he had learned to trust his instincts. Something felt wrong about this encounter. "How many ships?" "At least 50 large vessels, sir. And they're big. The smallest one is twice the size of Thunder's Edge." The command center grew quiet. Their ship, at 2 kilometers long, was humanity's largest vessel. The implications of these new contacts were troubling. "Tajin, broadcast standard greeting protocols on all frequencies," Hansol ordered. The communications officer nodded and began transmitting Earth's peaceful contact package, a series of mathematical sequences and simple pictograms designed to establish basic communication. Minutes passed. The alien fleet kept moving closer. "Sir," Tajin's voice cracked slightly. "They're not responding to any frequencies. I've tried everything in the First Contact Handbook." Hansol watched as the tactical display updated. The alien ships had formed into an attack pattern, something that couldn't be mistaken for anything else. Their weapons ports were opening, visible even at this distance. "Sound general quarters. All hands to battle stations." Hansol's voice remained calm, but his heart raced. This would be humanity's first alien contact, and it wasn't going to be friendly. Red alert klaxons blared throughout the ship. Crew members rushed to their posts, their footsteps echoing through the metal corridors. The Thunder's Edge came alive with activity as weapon systems powered up and shields activated. "Sir," Jai-1 called out, "the lead alien vessel is transmitting something. It's a video signal." "On screen," Hansol ordered. The main display flickered, and everyone on the bridge gasped. The alien commander, Patriarch Cthulhu, appeared before them. Its face was impossible to describe in human terms, a mass of writhing tentacles surrounding glowing red organs. When it spoke, the ship's computers translated its harsh clicking sounds into words. "Primitive species, you have expanded beyond your rightful bounds. Your system lies within space claimed by the Dominion. You will surrender your world and submit to our authority, or we will take it by force. You have 10 of your minutes to respond." The transmission cut off, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. Hansol's jaw tightened. He pressed a button on his chair. "This is the captain speaking to all hands. We have just received our first alien contact, and they have threatened Earth. I won't lie to you. We are outnumbered and facing an unknown enemy. But we are humanity's first line of defense, and we will not fail in our duty." He turned to his tactical officer. "Status of our weapons." "All systems ready, sir." "But," the officer hesitated, "against that many ships." Hansol nodded. "Contact Earth Defense Command. Send them everything we have. Tell them to begin civilian evacuations to the underground shelters." And he took a deep breath. "Request authorization to activate Project Cascade." The bridge crew exchanged nervous glances. Everyone had heard rumors about the top-secret weapon system built into Thunder's Edge, but no one knew exactly what it could do. "Sir," Jai-1 interrupted, "the alien fleet is launching fighters. Hundreds of them." Outside the viewports, space lit up as small craft poured from the larger ships like angry wasps from a disturbed nest. The alien fleet began to spread out, preparing to surround Earth's lone defender. "Time to their deadline," Hansol asked. 3 minutes, sir." He stood up, watching the approaching armada. Everything humanity had built, everything they had achieved, now rested on what happened in the next few minutes. The Thunder's Edge might be outnumbered, but they had one card left to play, one that would show these aliens exactly what humanity was capable of. "Send to Earth Defense Command," Hansol said firmly. "The Thunder's Edge stands ready. We will not surrender. And we will show them why you should never underestimate human ingenuity." The alien fighters drew closer, their weapons charging. The clock ticked down to first contact's violent
The Earth
beginning,
Defense Council
and
chamber
humanity's
buzzed with
response
tension.
that would freeze an
12
alien
screens
fleet showed the
terror.
worried faces of humanity's leaders, while at the center table, Admiral Yuna stood before a holographic display of the alien fleet. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, her voice firm despite the fear in the room. "The Thunder's Edge has sent us clear evidence. These aliens, who call themselves the Dominion, mean to take Earth by force." The hologram showed the massive alien ships now spreading out to surround the Thunder's Edge. Their strange, organic-looking vessels pulsed with an eerie red light. Security Chief Sun Min stepped forward, his tablet displaying data streams. "We've analyzed their communication patterns. 3 days ago, our deep space monitors picked up similar signals from the Proxima Centauri system. Today, that system has gone dark." The room fell silent. Councillor Park, an elderly man with gray hair, spoke first. "You mean they've done this before?" "Yes." Sun Min nodded. "We found evidence of at least 6 other systems that went silent after Dominion ships appeared. They're not here to talk. They're here to conquer." Admiral Yuna pressed a button, and the hologram changed to show the Thunder's Edge. "We have one advantage they don't know about. The Thunder's Edge carries our prototype quantum Cascade weapon. It's untested in real combat, but our simulations show it could be effective against their entire fleet." "And what exactly does this weapon do?" asked another council member. "It creates a localized distortion in space-time," Yuna explained. "Think of it like freezing a moment in time, but only for specific targets. We can trap their ships in temporal stasis fields." The council chamber erupted in whispers. The idea seemed impossible, like something from science fiction. "The risk," Sun Min added, "is that we've never used it on such a large scale. The power requirements alone could burn out every system on the Thunder's Edge." A new alert flashed across the main screen. The alien fighters had begun their approach. Time was running out. Admiral Yuna straightened her back. "Council members, I need your decision now. Captain Hansol and his crew are waiting. They're our only line of defense between Earth and an alien invasion force." The council members looked at each other through their screens. One by one, they pressed their voting buttons. The result was unanimous. "Authorize the use of the quantum cascade. Send the authorization to the Thunder's Edge," ordered Yuna. She turned to her communications officer. "And get me a direct line to Captain Hansol." The main screen switched to show the bridge of the Thunder's Edge. Hansol's face appeared, looking tired but determined. "Captain," Yuma said, "you have full authorization to use the quantum cascade. But you should know, our latest analysis shows the alien fleet is still growing. More ships are arriving through faster than light travel." Hansol nodded grimly. "Understood, Admiral. We've seen them. Our count is now at 75 capital ships, with more appearing every hour. Can the Cascade handle that many targets? Engineer Hyun-Ki says we can modify the weapon to create a wider field, but we'll only get one shot. After that, the power drain will leave us defenseless." Sun Min stepped forward. "Captain, be advised. We're detecting energy buildups in the alien fleet. They're preparing for a full attack." The ship's alarms could be heard in the background of Hansol's transmission. His crew rushed around behind him, preparing for battle. "Admiral," Hansol said, his voice steady, "request permission to engage the enemy at my discretion. We need to hit them before they can spread out too far for the cascade to reach them all." Admiral Yuna looked around the council chamber. These men and women represented all of humanity, and their next decision could determine the fate of their species. "Permission granted, Captain. Show them what happens when they threaten Earth." Yes, Mom. Han Solo's image started to fade. One more thing, Admiral. If this works, if we freeze their fleet, we'll be sending a message to every alien race watching us. They'll know that humanity isn't helpless, that we can defend ourselves. Then make it count, Captain. Earth Defense Council out. As the transmission ended, Admiral Yumna watched the tactical display. The alien fleet glowed like angry red stars against the blackness of space, while the single blue dot of the Thunder's Edge faced them alone. The next few minutes would either mark humanity's greatest victory or its last stand. The gathering storm was about to break, and Earth's fate hung in the balance. Deep in the engineering section of the Thunder's Edge, Engineer Hyun-Ki's hands moved quickly over the quantum cascade's control panel. Sweat ran down his face as warning lights flashed around him. Come on, he muttered, watching the power levels rise. The massive device took up 3 whole decks of the ship, its core glowing with a soft blue light. Just hold together a little longer. His assistant looked nervously at the readings. Sir, we're pushing the reactors beyond safe limits. We don't have a choice, Hyun-Ki replied. We need every bit of power we can get. There are too many alien ships out there. Above them on the bridge, Lieutenant Du-Yun watched as hundreds of alien fighters swarmed toward the Thunder's Edge. Their strange, curved ships looked like angry insects against the stars. Defensive systems at maximum power, Du-Yun reported, point defense lasers tracking multiple targets. Captain Han Solo nodded. Hold position. Let them come to us. We need them close enough for the Cascade to affect all of them. The first wave of alien fighters opened fire. Green energy bolts streaked through space toward the Thunder's Edge. The ship's shields lit up as they absorbed the attack. Shields at 90%, called out Du-Yun. 80%, 75%. Han Solo pressed the ship's comm button. Hyun-Ki, we need that weapon now. Our shields won't hold much longer. In engineering, Hyun-Ki worked faster. The quantum cascade systems were almost ready, but one wrong setting could cause it to fail. Or worse, tear their own ship apart. Just 30 more seconds, Captain, he shouted back. I have to calibrate the temporal field, or it could catch us too. The ship shook as a larger blast hit them. This time it came from one of the Dominion's capital ships. The alien fleet was moving closer, their massive ships forming a ring around Earth's lone defender. Shields at 50%. Du-Yun's voice was urgent. We have multiple hull breaches on decks 5 through 8. Another hit rocked the ship. Emergency lights flashed as more systems began to fail. Hyun-Ki. Han Solo called again. We're out of time. In engineering, Hyun-Ki looked at his final calculations. The power levels were dangerous, far beyond what they'd ever tested. But they had no choice. Quantum cascade ready, Captain, he reported. But sir, we've never tried to affect this many targets at once. The power drain will leave us completely defenseless. Understood. Han Solo stood up from his command chair. Through the bridge windows, he could see the alien fleet surrounding them. Their weapons glowed, preparing for a final attack. The alien commander, Patriarch Cathol, appeared again on their screen. Your time is up, humans. Your pathetic defense ends now. Watch as we destroy your ship and then take your world. Han Solo smiled. Actually, I think it's time we showed you something new. He pressed the command button on his chair. All hands, brace for quantum cascade activation. Hyun-Ki. Light it up. In engineering, Hyun-Ki took a deep breath and pressed the activation sequence. The quantum cascade's core went from blue to brilliant white. The whole ship hummed with power as energy flowed into the device. Quantum cascade firing in 3, 2, 1. A wave of strange, rippling energy burst from the Thunder's Edge. It spread out like a silent explosion, washing over the alien fleet. Where it touched their ships, something impossible happened. Time itself seemed to stop. The alien fighters froze in mid-flight. Their energy weapons stopped mid-blast. The massive capital ships hung motionless, caught in the middle of their attack maneuvers. On the bridge, the crew watched in amazement. The entire alien fleet hung in space like a giant 3D photograph. Nothing moved. Nothing changed. They were frozen in time. Status report. Han Sol called out, his voice barely a whisper. Do Yun checked his readings. It worked, sir. All enemy ships are caught in temporal stasis fields. They're completely frozen. From engineering, Hyun Ki's tired voice came over the comm. Cascade systems holding stable, Captain. Power levels are critical, but the stasis fields are self-sustaining now. They're not going anywhere. Han Sol looked at the frozen fleet. Patriarch Kithel's face was still on their screen, caught in a moment of shock and fear as he realized what was happening. Send word to Earth, Han Sol ordered. Tell them that humanity just changed the rules of war, and let everyone in the galaxy know. This is what happens when you threaten Earth. Around them, nearly 100 alien ships hung motionless in space, a monument to humanity's first major victory among the stars. Weapons Officer Min Seo couldn't believe her eyes. Through the main viewport of the Thunder's Edge, she watched the frozen alien fleet, hundreds of ships caught in perfect stillness, like insects trapped in amber. Beginning detailed scans, she reported, her fingers moving across her console. The temporal stasis fields are holding. I can see their weapon systems, still powered up, but frozen in time. Captain Han Sol ordered the Thunder's Edge to move closer to one of the larger alien ships. As they approached, they could see alien crew members through the windows, frozen in mid-motion. Some were running to battle stations. Others were reaching for controls. All of them wore expressions of pure fear on their alien faces. Look at this, Min Seo said, zooming in on one section. We can see their energy weapons, caught halfway through firing. The plasma bolts are just hanging there in space. The bridge crew worked quietly, still amazed by what they had done. Engineer Hyun Ki arrived from the engineering deck, his uniform stained with sweat, but a proud smile on his face. The quantum cascade exceeded all our expectations, he reported. We didn't just stop their ships. We created a perfect moment of frozen time. Nothing inside those fields will age or change until we decide to turn it off. Captain Han Sol turned to him. Can they break free? Hyun Ki shook his head. No, sir. They would need more energy than 1,000 suns to break these fields. They're trapped until we release them, if we ever do. In the center of the alien fleet, they could see Patriarch Kithel's massive flagship. Its organic-looking hull stretched for kilometers, now permanently frozen with all its weapon ports open. The alien leader's face was still visible on their screens, locked in an eternal expression of shock and horror. Sir, called out a sensor officer, we're picking up transmissions from the edge of the system. Other alien ships are seeing this. Han Sol smiled. Good. Let them watch. Let them see what happens when they threaten Earth. Min Seo's console beeped with new data. Captain, I'm detecting something interesting. The stasis fields are actually visible from long range. Any ship passing within a light year will be able to see this monument we've created. The crew realized what this meant. Their victory wouldn't just save Earth. It would serve as a warning to any other hostile aliens, a permanent reminder of humanity's power. Sir, called out Communications Officer Tajin, we're receiving hundreds of signals. Not just from Earth, from other alien civilizations too. They're all watching. Some are even broadcasting messages of surrender or peace. The bridge crew looked at the tactical display. Little dots of light showed ships from other alien races, hanging back at safe distances, observing the frozen fleet. Some were running away at full speed. It seems, Han Sol said quietly, we've done more than win a battle. We've changed the balance of power in this part of the galaxy. Min Seo continued her scans of the frozen ships. Captain, look at this. Some of these alien vessels were carrying invasion forces. Ground troops, war machines, enough to conquer a planet. They really were going to try to take Earth. And now they're a museum piece, Hyunki added. A statue that says, "Don't mess with humans." The crew watched as Earth ships began to approach their position. News of their victory had spread fast, and everyone wanted to see the frozen fleet for themselves. "Captain," Min Seo called out, "should I prepare a full report on the enemy's capabilities? We can study their technology now, learn everything about them while they're frozen." Han Sol nodded. "Do it. But first, send a message to that alien leader's face on our screen. The one that's frozen in fear." "What message, sir?" "Tell him, 'Welcome to humanity's moment. You wanted to see what we're capable of. Now you can watch us forever.'" The crew smiled as Min Seo sent the message, knowing Kithol would never be able to respond. Around them, the frozen fleet sparkled in space, each ship caught in the moment they learned that humanity was not to be underestimated. Earth's first major space battle had lasted less than an hour, but the monument they created, a fleet of mighty alien warships frozen in terror, would last for centuries, a permanent reminder to the galaxy. Earth was not a planet to be conquered. It was a world of humans who could stop time itself to protect their home. Dr. Yun-Ho floated in her spacesuit near one of the frozen alien ships, her tools carefully taking readings of the temporal stasis field. A week had passed since the Thunder's Edge had stopped the invasion, and Earth scientists were eager to study their new prizes. "Amazing," she spoke into her suit's recorder. "The ship's hull is perfectly preserved. We can see the metal at the exact moment it was about to change shape. These aliens had living ships that could transform during battle." Behind her, our research team carefully moved around the frozen alien fighters. They looked like statues in a strange space museum, their weapons still pointing at where the Thunder's Edge had been. Dr. Yun-Ho called her assistant through the radio. "You need to see this. We found their data storage systems. They're frozen too, but we can read them without unfreezing the ships." Yun-Ho pushed off from her position and glided toward the larger research ship nearby. Inside, Lieutenant Juri was looking at screens filled with alien text that the computers were translating. "What did you find?" Yun-Ho asked, removing her helmet. Juri's face was serious. These weren't just invaders. According to their records, they'd conquered 30 different civilizations. They destroy the strongest species first, then force the weaker ones to serve them. Earth was next on their list. But why Earth? Yun-Ho looked at the data. "We've barely started exploring space." "That's exactly why," Juri pointed to more translated text. "They saw our rapid progress, how quickly we went from simple rockets to advanced ships like the Thunder's Edge. They were afraid of what we might become if they let us grow stronger." Outside their window, more research ships arrived. Teams of scientists from all over Earth wanted to study the frozen fleet. It was the greatest collection of alien technology ever available for study, even if they couldn't touch most of it. "Look at this," Juri brought up another screen. "We're getting reports from other alien species. The news of what we did is spreading fast. Some of these races were hiding from the Dominion. Now they're reaching out to us." Yun-Ho watched as messages from different alien civilizations appeared. Many were asking for protection. Others wanted to trade technology. Some simply wanted to make sure Earth knew they came in peace. "We're not just a young species anymore," Yun-Ho said quietly. "Now we're the ones they fear." An alert sounded from one of their monitoring stations. The sensors were picking up something new from the frozen fleet. "What's happening?" Yun-Ho moved quickly to check the readings. Juri studied the data. "Nothing's wrong. The stasis fields are still perfect. But we're detecting brain activity from the frozen aliens. They're conscious. They can see us studying their ships." Yun-Ho looked out at the fleet. In every window, alien faces were frozen in expressions of terror. And now they knew that those aliens were aware, watching helplessly as humans examined their mighty warships like museum pieces. Should we turn off the stasis fields?" one of the junior scientists asked. "No," Juri shook her head. "According to these records, they would just try to attack again. Their whole culture is based on conquering others. But now they can watch as humanity grows stronger by studying their own technology. More research ships arrived, carrying scientists from different countries. They all worked together, sharing discoveries and helping each other understand the alien technology they could see but not touch. Dr. Ian O. called another researcher. We found their star maps. The Dominion had plans to attack dozens more worlds. By stopping them here, we didn't just save Earth. We saved all those other species too. Ian Ho looked at the frozen fleet again. What had started as a desperate defense of Earth had turned into something much bigger. Humanity had not only protected itself, but had become a guardian of other young civilizations. Send a message to Earth Defense Command, she ordered. Tell them we're learning more than we ever imagined. And tell them that the aliens who came to destroy us will now help us grow stronger, even if they never meant to. As she spoke, more alien ships appeared at the edge of the solar system. But these weren't invaders. They were diplomats and scientists from other worlds, coming to meet the species that had frozen time itself to protect their home. The aftermath of humanity's victory was becoming clear. They had not just won a battle. They had changed their place in the galaxy forever. Ambassador Wu Jin stood in Earth's new Space Diplomatic Center, looking at the holographic images of alien representatives. 1 month after the Thunder's Edge's victory, Earth had become the center of galactic politics. We understand your concerns, he said to the gathered aliens. Some looked almost human, while others were very different, floating clouds of gas or crystalline beings. Earth has no plans to use the quantum cascade weapon against peaceful species. A tall, blue-skinned alien stepped forward. But you could, couldn't you? You could freeze any of our ships just like you did to the Dominion fleet. We could, Wu Jin admitted. But that's not who we are. We built that weapon to defend ourselves, not to threaten others. Behind him, Chief Strategist Hanul watched the meeting carefully. She noticed how the alien representatives moved away from the windows whenever Earth ships passed by. The fear was still there, even among these peaceful visitors. Perhaps, she said, stepping forward, you should all visit the monument. The aliens looked nervous. The monument was what everyone called the frozen Dominion fleet now. It hung in space near Earth's moon, a permanent reminder of humanity's power. Why should we view your trophy? Asked one of the crystalline beings. Because, Hanul explained, you need to understand why we did it. Not to show our power, but to protect our home. Just like any of you would. The diplomatic ship took them close to the frozen fleet. Even after a month, it was still an amazing sight. Hundreds of ships caught in a single moment of terror, their crews forever watching as the galaxy changed around them. Look there. Wu Jin pointed to Patriarch Cathal's flagship. Their leader thought we were weak because we were young. He didn't understand that being young made us creative, made us think of solutions no one else had tried. The alien diplomats watched silently. Some used their own devices to scan the frozen ships. We've learned much from the Dominion's records, Hanul continued. They destroyed peaceful worlds, enslaved entire species. They were going to do the same to us, and then to many of your worlds too. So you appointed yourselves as galaxy's protectors? One alien asked. No, Wu Jin smiled. We're offering to be partners. Earth is establishing a new defense alliance. Any peaceful world that wants to join will be protected. We'll share our technology, train your crews, help you defend yourselves. The aliens began talking among themselves. This was different from what they expected. They thought Earth would demand their surrender, like the Dominion did. Instead, humans were offering friendship. And if we refuse? Asked the blue-skinned alien. Then you refuse. Hanul said simply. We won't force anyone to join. The only ones who need to fear Earth are those who threaten us or our allies. As if to prove her point, alerts sounded throughout the diplomatic ship. A large warship from an aggressive alien empire had just appeared at the edge of the solar system. Watch, Wu Jin said calmly. The alien warship approached Earth, its weapons ready. It moved closer to the frozen fleet, its crew probably thinking they could succeed where the Dominion failed. Then 3 Earth ships appeared. They were smaller than the alien warship, but the alien ship immediately turned around and fled at full speed. It had seen what happened to the last aliens who threatened Earth. The alien diplomats watched this with great interest. Many of them had suffered raids from that same empire. Now they saw those raiders run away in fear. "This is what we offer," Wu Jin explained. "Not just protection, but peace. Real peace, backed by strength. No more bullies destroying younger civilizations. No more empires enslaving peaceful worlds." One by one, the alien representatives began to nod. They understood now. Humans hadn't frozen the Dominion fleet just to save themselves. They'd done it to change the rules of how species treated each other in the galaxy. "Where do we sign?" asked the crystalline being. Wu Jin smiled. As he began preparing the alliance documents, he looked out at the frozen fleet again. Those ships had come to destroy humanity. Instead, they had helped humans unite the peaceful species of the galaxy. It was perhaps the greatest irony in space history. The Dominion's attempt to crush humanity had instead made humans the guardians of galactic peace, and the frozen fleet would hang in space forever, reminding everyone that the age of conquest was over. The age of cooperation had begun. 6 months after the great victory, Captain Hansol stood on the stage of the United Earth Assembly. Thousands of humans and aliens watched as he received the Star of Terra, humanity's highest honor. "Captain Hansol," announced the Earth President, "your actions aboard the Thunder's Edge not only saved our world, but changed the course of galactic history." Hansol looked at his crew in the front row. Engineer Hyun-ki sat there, wearing his new research director uniform. Next to him was Science Officer Jae-won, now head of the Alien Technology Integration Project. They all shared proud smiles. "The honor belongs to my entire crew," Hansol said into the microphone. "And to all of humanity. We proved that being young doesn't mean being weak. It means being able to think in new ways." Above the assembly hall, through the clear dome ceiling, everyone could see the frozen Dominion fleet glinting in the sunlight. It had become Earth's most famous landmark, visited by ships from 1,000 worlds. After the ceremony, Hansol walked with Hyun-ki through the new Earth Defense Fleet headquarters. Construction robots worked everywhere, building more ships based on what they'd learned from studying the frozen alien fleet. "How are the new defense systems coming along?" Hansol asked. Hyun-ki grinned. "Better than we hoped. We've made the quantum Cascade technology smaller and more efficient. Every Earth ship can now carry a smaller version. And we've taught our allies how to build their own." They stopped at a viewport overlooking the shipyards. The Thunder's Edge was there, being upgraded with new technology. Around it, dozens of new ships were under construction. Each one carried humanity's promise of protection to peaceful worlds. "Did you hear about the latest diplomatic report?" Hyun-ki asked. 3 more aggressive empires have signed peace treaties. They don't want to end up like the Dominion. Hansol nodded. The frozen fleet had become more than a monument. It was a powerful tool for peace. No species wanted to risk having their ships become eternal statues in space. A group of alien visitors passed by, led by Ambassador Wu Jin. Some were floating crystal beings, others looked like tall blue humanoids, and one group seemed to be made of living light. All of them bowed respectfully to Hansol as they passed. "Strange to think," Hansol said quietly, "that 6 months ago, we didn't even know aliens existed. Now Earth is the center of the largest peaceful alliance in galaxy history." They entered the new Strategic Command Center, where Chief Strategist Hae-Newell was showing a group of alien military officers the latest defense plans. The room's main screen showed a map of protected space, thousands of worlds now under Earth's shield. "Captain," Hae-Newell called out. "Perfect timing. Would you tell our allies about the moment you decided to activate the Cascade?" Hansol looked at the eager alien faces. "I just knew we had to try something new," he said simply. The Dominion thought they knew everything about war. They never expected a young species to think differently. One of the alien officers spoke up. "But how did you know it would work?" "We didn't," Han Solo admitted. "We just knew we had to protect our home." Sometimes the biggest victories come from being brave enough to try the impossible. The aliens nodded thoughtfully. Many of them came from worlds that had hidden from stronger species for centuries. Now they were learning to stand up for themselves, inspired by Earth's example. Later that day, Han Solo returned to the Thunder's Edge. His ship had a new mission now, leading the combined fleet that protected peaceful worlds. As he sat in his command chair, he looked at the frozen Dominion fleet one last time. "Send a message to all ships," he ordered. "The Thunder's Edge is ready to depart. We have worlds to protect." As his ship moved away from Earth, Han Solo thought about how much had changed. The aliens who came to destroy humanity had instead made humans stronger. Their frozen fleet, meant to be an invasion force, had become a beacon of peace. The Thunder's Edge jumped to faster-than-light speed, heading out to guard the worlds under Earth's protection. Behind them, the frozen Dominion fleet continued its eternal watch, a reminder to all species that the galaxy had changed. The age of conquest was over. The age of peace had begun, and it all started because humanity dared to think differently when facing impossible odds. A new dawn had truly risen for all peaceful species in the galaxy.